Was there anyone who told you that life after 80 might be unexpected? Because even the strongest, most self-reliant individuals are taken by surprise. This video delves into 5 harsh and unexpected realities that everyone must face after reaching the age of 80. These are not the numbers on your medical chart or the visible physical changes. Rather, they are more profound changes, subtle adjustments in how you perceive time, how people treat you, and how your own memories begin to reveal previously unnoticed facts. Some of these may surprise you, while others may be things you've already experienced but found difficult to express. However, they are all related in that they influence how we age. Stay with us through to the end because, despite the fact that these changes may seem harsh, they can actually give you strength, purpose, and peace. Knowing that you're not alone in what you're going through and giving it a name gives you a tremendous sense of empowerment. Let's get started. First, the world of social connections is getting smaller. The obvious shrinkage of your social world is one of the first realities that subtly creeps in after the age of 80. There's no doubting that the frequency has changed. Even though you may still receive phone calls and the occasional visitor, the feeling has been more significant. A friendship or connection that seems to have a natural rhythm may now seem disjointed or even brittle. Friends die, become ill, or move away. Unaware of it, you start to spend more time in silence than talking as family members become preoccupied with their own lives. This is about being honest, not about being resentful. Many people don't discuss how difficult it is to maintain those relationships after the age of 80. Even if you're not someone who requires constant company, you start to notice the decline in invitations and the growing distance between visits. And the absence begins to speak louder than you anticipated. As a means of keeping the people you care about in your life, even if only in memory, you might find yourself thinking back on the past more frequently. The routines you once took for granted and the laughter you once shared begin to feel like treasures now. It's not a sign of weakness or even loneliness in the conventional sense. So there's nothing wrong with you for experiencing this. It's just a subtle adjustment that practically everyone goes through, but nobody gets you ready for it. And that's why it's more crucial than ever to maintain your emotional ties to yourself, your story, and even 1 or 2 people. Because the depth of a small number of genuine connections matters more than ever when the crowd thins. The second is how minor health issues grow into major ones. The fact that even minor health issues no longer remain minor in their 80s is something that frequently surprises people. A minor mishap that would have been forgotten by lunch can now result in weeks of bed rest, physical therapy, or even surgery. A minor cold also lasts longer than it used to, and a bruise takes weeks to heal. Not only is the body slowing down, but its capacity to recover is also becoming less certain. The margin for error decreases, and even something as basic as skipping one meal or failing to drink enough water can cause your entire system to malfunction. Even though you still feel strong and you do, in many ways your resilience no longer functions in the same way as it did when you were younger. What used to be automatic now requires your care, attention, and tenderness. Not many people discuss this change. Your doctor, friends, and family may minimize it or dismiss it as a natural part of aging. However, you are aware of the distinction. Every recovery weighs on you. You notice that you have less energy than you did before. This is a mental as well as a physical challenge. It's frustrating because you feel like your body isn't supporting you as much as it used to. Additionally, this change may feel like a betrayal if you've always taken pride in your toughness, independence, or activity. The truth is, though, that this awareness is power. You can make adjustments once you begin to observe how your body reacts. You don't have to give up to slow down. You can pay attention to what you need, such as more self-forgiveness, more rest, and more water. The goal of this stage of life is to safeguard your remaining strength by not taking it for granted, not to prove anything. And allowing yourself to heal completely is sometimes the strongest thing you can do. Please let me know in the second comment below if you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. Let's proceed now. The third is the gradual decline in social visibility. People begin to ignore you more easily when you turn 80, which is one of the most unsettling changes that occurs, out of a subtle cultural shift that no one discusses, not out of cruelty. The energy in a room doesn't change as much as it used to when you walk in. People occasionally talk over you when you're speaking, not because they intend to, but rather because they think you're finished. In social situations, even with family, you may find yourself repeating yourself, waiting longer to be recognized, or just feeling unnoticed. In a world that is more fast-paced and focused on youth than ever before, this experience is more than just being disregarded. It is the gradual loss of presence. Additionally, not many people can adequately prepare you for it. Even though your stories, thoughts, and wisdom are more true than ever, it can seem like the world sees your age before it sees you. Even though you've loved, lost, and lived, there are times when your presence seems subdued. A variety of emotions, including sadness, annoyance, and even a subdued form of grief, can be triggered by this reality. However, there is a strength as well. Seeing this change for what it is a reflection of a culture that disregards its elders rather than your own value. You're not invisible. Your voice matters even if the world doesn't always hear it. First, the people who truly care about you are the ones who sit with your memories, your stories, and your humor. Even though it takes them a little longer to lean in, they are paying attention. Don't back down then. Don't let your silence define you. Tell us what you have witnessed and what you have managed to survive. Be the silent force that serves as a reminder to others of what true endurance, depth, and dignity look like. Even though you aren't always the loudest person in the room, you have more experience than most people realize. The fourth is the reduction in the scope of your everyday existence. One of the most difficult aspects of aging after 80 is not only what occurs within your body, but also what subtly vanishes from the outside. Your once bustling, familiar world begins to feel more intimate. Piece by piece, not all at once. Not because you don't want to, but because things seem more difficult, exhausting, or far away. You may find yourself going out less frequently. Friends who used to visit either move away, get sick, or die. Favorite eateries close, and neighbors shift. Your world gently contracts instead of collapsing. That carries an emotional burden. At first, the loneliness may seem like background noise, a little more subdued here and there, but it gradually becomes more intense. It can be confusing to watch something that was once familiar gradually disappear, even for the most self-reliant people. However, naming this and realizing that what you're experiencing is grief rather than weakness has a powerful effect. It's the inevitable melancholy that comes with seeing a chapter end. It shows that you cared, not that you've given up. The reality is that a new world can still grow even as the old one gets smaller. The depth of a new conversation, a friendship with a younger person, or sharing your stories in a way you have never done before, could all contribute to that expansion rather than travel or significant occasions. For the world to have meaning, it only needs to be alive, not large. So, even if your friend lives far away, give them a call. Participate in that book club, even if it's virtual, even if it's just around the block. Take a quick stroll. Even though your world may appear different, it is still changing. Furthermore, there is still a great deal of room for happiness, laughter, and connection. Please let me know in the fourth comment below if you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. Let's proceed now. The fifth is your own body's unpredictable nature. Your body begins to send conflicting signals after the age of 80, and frequently at the worst times. You wake up one day, feeling strong enough to face the world, composed and able to move steadily. The next minute, you're sluggish and disoriented, wondering why your knees aren't cooperating or why your hands aren't able to hold that coffee mug as firmly as they once did. It's the betrayal, not just the physical inconvenience, that makes this so annoying. You have spent your entire life in this body. Now that you've put your trust in it, it keeps altering the rules without warning or justification. One morning, you might have planned a walk but experience an unexpected wave of exhaustion. You may notice that it takes a little longer to get back up after bending over to tie a shoelace, or perhaps a strange numbness that goes away as fast as it appeared. Dizziness or stiffness catch you off guard. But here's the part that nobody discusses. This uncertainty erodes confidence as well as mobility. Suddenly, you're reconsidering your plans to go out, not because you can't, but rather because you're worried about what your body might do. In circumstances where you once felt in control, that uncertainty can make you feel smaller, more vulnerable, and even hesitant. And it makes perfect sense. If one fact can be helpful in this situation, it is that although your body may no longer be consistent, your reaction to it can. Adaptability turns into your shield, and flexibility into your new strength. You gain the ability to pace yourself, prepare, and give yourself grace without giving up. You begin to pay closer attention to stretch, to rest when necessary, to consult your doctor not only when something is amiss, but also to learn how to stay ahead of the game, because having knowledge gives you a sense of power even when things are unpredictable. Therefore, know, even though your body may not be as reliable as it once was, you still have complete control over it thanks to all of your knowledge and experience. Please let me know in the fourth comment below if you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. Let's proceed now. In conclusion, we have just covered 5 harsh realities that frequently surface after the age of 80. Each one has the power to subtly alter our perception of the world and is surprising in its own unique way. These changes have a way of surprising us, from the deterioration of one's intimate relationships to the physical unpredictableness that appears when we least expect it. The truth is, however, that accepting these changes does not mean allowing yourself to deteriorate. Rather, it means beginning your life with an open mind in order to live it more fully, sensibly, and freely. What caught your attention the most? Which of these 5 realities have you observed in yourself or perhaps a loved one? We would be delighted to hear from you. Tell us one thing you learned from today's video in the comments section below. Your story could be the one that inspires someone else, regardless of how you choose to handle it. For example, by letting go of guilt, getting back in touch with a person you've lost touch with, or just being more gentle with your body. Because aging ultimately means gaining depth rather than losing value. And by confronting these realities collectively, we fortify one another as well as ourselves. We appreciate you being here with us today. We would be delighted to hear from you. Tell us about one thing you learned today and how you intend to apply it in your life in the comments section below. We value your opinions, so please feel free to express them. We are greatly inspired and encouraged by reading your comments. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it entertaining and useful. We can keep producing high content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the upcoming video.